Time to go back to the wonderful world of Pixar to talk about some of the most underrated movies that they've made. So, we've already talked about the overrated, so let's talk about the top 3 underrated Pixar movies. And if you don't think these movies are underrated, that's totally fine. It's just an opinion, and I'm glad we all have different tastes. Anyway, on to the countdown. Number 3, Dory. While the first Finding Nemo is considered to be the best Pixar movie, Finding Dory kind of just fell by the wayside. Sure, it made $1 billion at the box office, but people don't really talk about this movie anymore. And why not? The animation is stunning, and it's a story that's heartwarming and touches everyone's hearts. It may not be as emotional as say Toy Story 3, but it's a way better and more adventurous sequel than Cars 2. And a lot of the characters are memorable, including Hank the Septopus, Dory herself, and even her parents, and Destiny the Whale Shark. Um, I personally really love this movie because I love aquatic adventures. I really love being in the ocean. It's really a beautiful place to see the reef, like just everything under the sea is very beautiful and brilliant to look at. And if you're a big fan of the first Finding Nemo, I definitely recommend Finding Dory. It's definitely one of Pixar's most underrated films. It's certainly beautiful to look at, being under the ocean and all that. Anyway, number 2, Bug's Life. Bug's Life is disappearing in Disney California Adventure, like Pixar is just forgetting it even existed. Always best to remember where your beginnings were. And A Bug's Life was a very important part of Pixar nonetheless, because it was the first time that Pixar was going up against new company DreamWorks with their film Ants. And if you want to know the story behind A Bug's Life and how this is considered to be one of the most important films of Pixar, then please go check out Super Carlin Brothers' video, The Truth About A Bug's Life and Ants. And you'll see why the founding of DreamWorks is a lot more relevant to Pixar than you think. So, A Bug's Life, it may not be the most original film by Pixar, and Flick is a very forgettable protagonist, making him a generic underdog, but it's still a brilliant movie. It's got memorable songs, Time of Your Life by Randy Newman, and extremely lovable characters. One of the best characters is Francis the Ladybug, not just because he's played by Dennis Leary, who also played Diego from Ice Age, but he's also very relatable to those that have anger issues. So, the reason why I say this is because I got anger issues, and sometimes I need help with my anger issues, and it's very great to see a character who has the same kind of problem. This is one of the most underrated Pixar movies, and it's definitely worth a watch. Hopper and the Grasshoppers are certainly memorable because they're threatening and they're funny. I totally recommend A Bug's Life. It's a childhood favorite and it still holds up. Before we get to number 1, just a few quick honorable mentions. Toy Story 4. Understandably, people are really divisive about this film, and because they really wanted Pixar to just leave Toy Story alone after the fitting end in Toy Story 3. But it's still a beautifully animated, visually stunning Pixar movie. It's got a lot of heart, and they made a spork a likable character out of all things. It's still a really great movie, and I totally recommend it. I had a lot of fun at cinema watching this. And also the song by Randy Newman, I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away. Beautifully original, and has a lot of heart to it. It's a beautiful message about how Jesus won't let us throw ourselves away. I totally recommend Toy Story 4, especially if you're a fan of the Toy Story franchise. The Cars franchise. Golly gee, was I a fan of the Cars franchise growing up. But however, watching it again, it's very childish, and it's even though it's got some good songs, it's just not as memorable or grand as the other Pixar movies. However, if you like the Cars franchise, that's totally fine. And in my opinion, which is the number 1 most underrated Pixar movie, is Up. What an emotional ride. This is a beautifully emotional film about an old man trying to get his house to Paradise Falls just so he can make his wife happy. Not only does this have a lot of heart and emotion, but there's just so much love put into it, so much relatability. And not to mention, the animation is stunning and beautiful. And even though the whole floating house is nonsensical, balloons would never carry away a house. But this is a nostalgic favorite. This was a film that totally deserved more recognition than it got. While WALL-E is one of the overrated Pixar movies, Up, that came after WALL-E, is one of the most underrated. Not only does it have so much charm and so much visually stunning visuals to look at, it's also very adventurous, epic, and it just has a lot of heart to it. The characters are all lovable, and this is just an underrated gem that totally deserves more recognition. It's so touching and precious how Carl will do anything to please his wife to make her dream come true. That is touching, and that is just so precious. I totally consider Up the absolute most underrated Pixar movie of all time. Please, go check out this movie as soon as possible. It needs to be seen as one of Pixar's greatest masterpieces. Like, The Iron Giant started out as a flop, but people started watching The Iron Giant and thinking this is underrated. And eventually, Warner Brothers took notice and is considered by many to be one of the absolute best animated films of all time. The same can be done with Up. So, and I personally think that Up is actually one of the best Pixar movies. It totally deserves more recognition. So, anyway, let's boost its ratings up. See you guys later. Movies like Up show that Pixar has potential to touch viewers' hearts and make them cry. Like Toy Story 3 is a very emotional movie. So, again, Pixar, good luck. So, keep on making history with those animated movies. The thing that makes Up so emotional and so grand and so beautiful is Carl's ambition to please Ellie and make her dream come true is so touching and precious. And I know I said that before, but I didn't say it with gusto or confidence. So I'm saying it now, trying to make these videos clear and not mush-mouthy. So I'll try to keep it clear and straight, plain and simple. So the next videos will be a lot clearer, and you guys are probably wondering, like, I made a video saying that I'd take a break from this channel, but the reason I'm not, and the reason I'm back is because there's just so much to talk about, and I'll be covering more. Sorry about that, I'm jumbled up again. I'll be covering more serious subjects in the future, so stay tuned.